Hello everyone and welcome back, and I thank you for being here, and also thank you to the platform for allowing us to have a get-together. And if you are aware of my previous video, I want to thank you for watching that, or maybe I should apologize. Or even I probably should have offered to send you some chocolate or chewing gum or something for the trouble, but thank you for giving me your time. And today the title implies that I have something to say to Princess Henry. And if you are here, you know who Princess Henry is and who I'm talking about. And I would like to just ask her in the most sincere and respectful way, is ask her that, can we please be honest about titles? Titles, they're obtaining a title and using a title, and what all of that implies to those of us that might be considered commoners. And by the way, there's a lot of commoners out there. I think most of us fall into that category, and the ones who are not commoners, I don't know if they spend too much time on any of these social media platforms. Maybe that is one thing that separates us. But anyways, I would really like to ask you, Princess Henry, about the titles that you have obtained, and you're using them, and what your intention is, or your reasons, and what your goals are in reference to using the titles, what you hope to achieve. And I just have some thoughts that I would like to share with you, and it is because I care, and you are always that storm. I don't know, I would say a storm in a teacup. But it's always just so much commotion around you, and I would maybe even call it noise, and maybe this would be some way to kind of calm down that noise so that we can hear you. Not that you owe us an explanation per se, but I think that there are some things that need to be clarified that might calm this situation down a bit. And I'm not going to say that I'm going to agree with your reasons, and I'm not going to say that I disagree with the criticism, because sometimes we get what we deserve, and none of us are exempt from that, and that hurts. And it's kind of one of those truths that I've got my share of. Everyone has their share of truths that are uncomfortable, and I don't have any business in your business. I'll be the first one to say that. But there's just so much being said. I wonder, has anyone just asked you, honey, why? And that's what I'm about for the next few minutes. Well, obviously, I am confused, and my understanding is that you obtain these titles by virtue of being married into the royal family. So here are some titles that are bequeathed to you, as is your right, being the spouse of someone in the royal family. And that came also, I think, with expectations. And I guess my way of looking at it could be wrong, but it seems like the things that come with a royal title is sort of like those things that we agree to on terms of service, for all these digital services and social media. And these days, almost anything that you use electronics, they have this terms of use and terms of service, and we sign away our lives. And I don't know what we've all signed away. Our firstborn, blood samples will be next, but everything in life seems to have some sort of limited liability that we've lived with for a long time, even back in the old days, whether it was bicycles, roller skates, there was a certain amount of expected limited liability. And then as we got more into the electronic digital age, it just seemed like everywhere you turn, someone wants you to acknowledge their terms of service. And I would say that when you get a royal title by virtue of being married, and not because you were the fastest runner or you could jump the highest or you won a beauty pageant, like because of your own hard work, no matter how you got to that altar, you got there and you married into the royal family, and they gave you a royal title. And this has, I believe, terms of service that go along with that. And I don't know how you feel about terms of service in general. If it's just like, oh, this old thing, okay, and then you check mark it and you go on. I don't know that you get a lawyer and every single time there's a terms of service, you just get fighting mad, get your dukes up, and you're going to have that lawyer haggle and argue with whatever it is that's asking for a terms of service and say, I don't want to do that. I'm different. I have special reasons, and I don't believe you do that. That just sounds crazy, doesn't it? That we know terms of service, yada, yada, yada. We know, and then we go on. But one thing that seems to be a problem is understanding that titles also have a terms of service that may be unspoken. And maybe sort of like an oral contract or something that is expected out of tradition. And I don't know how this works. I don't know if somewhere there's the fine print of a royal title, and I have no idea. These long, 20-foot long paper scrolls that are bound with a silk ribbon and they're sealed with a wax or whatever, But there has got to be certainly expectations that came along with that title. And maybe there was something about that you didn't like or that you didn't felt bound by. And you could have said, no, thank you. I want my freedom. I don't want any titles whatsoever. And you just keep them for yourself, because I will not be confined by other people's expectations. And as a woman that likes to give that as part of your image, I could see where you could be respectful about it and say thank you, but no thank you. I do appreciate the offer, but I have another pathway, a different calling, and I want it to be a win-win situation where no one's going to feel like I'm abusing a situation or taking advantage of it, but also respect that I have things that I want to say and do that might be a problem if you're going around with a royal title. And you might have expressed like, oh, I'm not really interested, but that's not the same thing. When you say I'm not interested, that's not the same thing as just turning the title down and saying, no, thank you. And that is what maybe should have given a little more thought to it, because I'm confused at what now seems to be a shift, and there could be reasons behind the scenes that you're just not able to discuss why at one point early on it seemed like you were indifferent to it, and then now all of a sudden your title has been everywhere you look. In reference to you, there's going to be you and that title, you and the title over here, you and the title over there. So that is why I'm confused. Did it suddenly become important for a different reason? Maybe it's still not important to you, but you have reasons now that have changed and that you cannot share with us. And I can understand that. I can understand where there may be something going on behind the scenes that you're just not going to cross that line and discuss it, and you are very much aware of how maybe inconsistent that looks, and that's just a hit you're willing to take because no one knows what price you are paying. And there's going to be a price, obviously, for all our choices and decisions, and you're not having to or able to explain yourself every time you turn around and do something. But there has been a glaring difference between that, how you portrayed it as not being interested in it, and then using it so consistently. And that is very confusing to those of us that are not privy to the higher way of doing things. And I wonder if, you are fully aware that you have this title because of your marriage. And I'm not going to say because you married a man, because that may be true, but, marriage is marriage, and marriage into a royal family, and getting something because of that marriage into the royal family, it didn't matter who it was. Now, the choice between what you can do and should do, and that is another thing. I'm really wondering, how much time have you spent really thinking about what you can do and what you should do? And I know that if you've got a goal in mind, and you've got reasons for doing something, and then a goal that you want to achieve, I'm not sure, Megan, that those reasons that you have are going to be helpful to your goal. And just being, maybe, I don't know, is there a little bit of the obstinance there, being sort of rebellious? I don't know. I would think that at your age you would have outgrown that. That's kind of trying to perceive you as being a teenager, and I wouldn't want anyone to box me in that category, though they couldn't at this age. But I am old enough to be your mother, and I guess that's why I just want to help you. There's so many people that they're fixers, they're solvers, and they just, meddling. Yeah, that's a little bit of it too. But would just like to know, do you really think all your reasons for doing things, no matter how rational or valid that they are they really helpful to your goals? And everyone has reasons for what they do and what they say, and you're allowed to have those reasons too, and all of us do. But sometimes our reasons are more about feelings, how something makes us feel, and not so much about the boots on the ground reality of how something really is. And for those of us that have spent a lot of time in our head and kind of trapped in our heart, where we have this feeling and it's a vicious cycle, and we just can't seem to move beyond a situation that was said or done, and those reasons just, they're there. We can't talk ourselves out of it. And they're not always going to be rational. I know that I have not always been rational. I've had enough therapy to know that. But you're entitled to have your moments of whatever that is making sense to you. But I really question if those are helping you with your goals, and the pathway to your goals in life might have a more straightforward approach rather than something that follows this rabbit trail where I'm not sure, maybe you would even get lost on your own rabbit trail. And that is something that I would really like you to spend some time, just do a double internal check on yourself. Make sure that all those boxes that were checked earlier, do you still want those boxes checked? Maybe uncheck a few, like, been there, done that, and just have this quiet moment where you have clarity of mind. And I don't know how often you have time just for quiet thinking. And I think that I thought I heard or read somewhere about yoga and meditation and something, and I think that is something that you value, and I would hope that you would have a moment where you have clarity of mind and a chance to think about your reasons in pertaining to the title. And I have other things I want to talk to you about, but this is just going to be about the title, and to think about that most of us commoners are amused with titles. We might all have said, "Oh, I saw so and so drive by," and it would be interesting enough and amusing enough. We would share that with our friends. I have a story where someone I know in the middle or late 70s was, I guess it was a disco, that was the thing back then, and the son of the Shah of Iran just wanted to dance with a girl, and so his bodyguard or assistant came up to one of the women that I know and asked if it would be all right if she would dance with him, and she did. And so that's her story, and now it's also become my story. I have a story to tell by virtue of knowing someone with a story. And that's the way a lot of us view royalty, is with a certain amount of amusement. And so many people love the royal family. And maybe not so much individuals who we know we are all flawed individuals, but the institution of the monarchy and what that means to a country, that is part of their heart and their soul. And when you are gifted an emblem, a status, that is, even if you know everybody is a scoundrel, that what it represents to that country is an honor and should be dealt with and treated as such. And if it can't be, if you find that so inconsistent with your reasons and how you feel, I would have to say that you are making it harder on yourself and giving a lot of fodder for the criticisms that just get hurled your way. And that is one of those uncomfortable truths that maybe it's just not easy to convey to you. And sometimes you have to give someone bad news or bad information or unpleasant or unhappy information. And it just makes you cringe inside to think that you have to say something like that to somebody, and it makes me wonder if you have been kept apart from the common people for a long enough now that maybe you're slowly finding yourself out of step with how the movement, the temperature, the attitude, the direction society is going, and there's been something so hurtful to you or so irritating that you're just not able to get beyond it. It's like this rock, that's just around your ankle, or it's in your way, and you can't get beyond it. And the world just keeps going. And there's so many times I know that the world was too fast for me, and I just needed it to slow down or even stop for just a moment so I could catch my breath. And the world just doesn't care. It doesn't care who you are, what you are. it is marching round and round and zipping across our solar system, and we just gotta hang on and go with it. And that's why I think you might be approaching an area that is out of step with the large number of people and how they view titles. And these might be the very same people that you're trying to engage with, and that they have a certain meaning for your goal. And and here again, I don't know what your goals are, and you don't have to share them with me, but it's part of the choices that we make and the prices that we're willing to pay. And there's prices that you pay for what you say, what you don't say, what you do, what you don't do. Everything has a price, and you are fully aware of that. And I just wonder if everything that you are willingly putting yourself in a position in the line of fire, really, is what it looks like. It looks like that you gravitate almost towards that, and that's very concerning for those of us that want to see happy win-win situation, a happy, calm situation, a healthy situation for you and your family. That can be concerning for those of us that know that that kind of turmoil in the long term is just simply not healthy. It's not helpful. Well, Megan and anyone else that's with us, I really kind of ranted on for a little bit, and you could tell by my voice that my body's telling me to take a break. But I just wanted to just thank everyone and hope that we can get together and visit again real soon. And I've got actually more stories pertaining to things about choices and things about to do with reasons, but I'll save them for another time. I just want to wish everyone well, and I think I'm supposed to ask you to like and subscribe. That's what someone told me. And this is still a learning curve, and thank you for bearing with me, and I may have to offer chocolate or something like that for all of your kind attention. And I hope that everyone is doing well, and I will try to keep you all in my prayers, and let me know in the comments below what you think about the titles, which was today's subject, and let me know if you need me to include specifically you in my prayers. I'll be glad to do that. And let's all pray for the royal family, and that includes Princess Henry. Thank you so much. You take care. Bye now.